All right, folks, welcome back to Starladder Season 7, Day 7. We're here in game number 3 of the day. We've got Ex-Quantic Gaming facing off against Team Poseidon. I am slated to solo cast here, so if you were enjoying the duo commentary, my apologies, folks. My co-caster did have to go. As I mentioned yesterday, we're probably going to be looking to pick up a third caster to rotate in between the two of us, where right now we're streaming every day doing Starladder and planning on mixing in some of the MLG coverage on Sundays, Mondays, and Wednesdays. So there are plenty of games to cast. Just throwing that out there. All of you potential casters out there that wouldn't mind hopping on stream every so often, this could be your opportunity. Drop me a line somewhere, and hopefully the solo casting here doesn't scare you away too much. Anyhow, Poseidon versus Ex-Quantic. This is going to be a good one. We haven't seen Ex-Quantic yet this game, yet this tournament, I should say. They were scheduled a game before 2 or 3 days ago, but that whole can't describe dropping out of the tournament and disbanding canceled what would have been their first match. So this is Quantic's debut, if I'm not mistaken, and I will be very intrigued to see how they do, as well as how some of the new faces perform here. Of course, Sachka, and they do have a stand-in who is Fada right now. It should be interesting. We've seen plenty of Poseidon as well. Illidan leading the way here. Always excited. Poseidon's really done quite well. We saw them do very well yesterday against Virtus Pro, the new Virtus Pro. If you didn't see that match, you should probably check it out because it was old Virtus Pro and the new Virtus Pro facing off, and it was a hell of a good game. Hell of a good game. I'm not sure if we uploaded that to YouTube, but it's all over the place. Our audio-only version is up on Mixcloud.com, so you can check that out if you're enjoying your day at work. Let's get into this draft a little bit, though. First bands coming out from Quantic Gaming are going to be Obsidian Devourer and the Mighty Bat Rider there. Poseidon going to throw their first bands out on Abaddon as well as the Wisp. So pretty familiar first bands there. We did see Abaddon last game. Abaddon's really, I mean, he's brand new into Captain's Mode, and the past 2 days at least, including today, we've seen Abaddon pretty much first picked or first banned fairly consecutively. He's getting up there with the Wisp and the Bat Rider and even the OD. So we've got those standard bands happening. Poseidon going to first pick Naga Siren. Today we're 3 out of 3 games to see a first pick Naga Siren, and it's 50-50. Last game, no, it's actually 0 for 2 now. We saw it not work last game for Virtus Pro. So the first pick Naga Siren, sort of a bad taboo on day 7 here of Starladder. I don't know what it is. Hopefully Poseidon, fingers crossed, it doesn't prove to be a bad luck charm for them, at least fingers crossed from the Poseidon perspective. I don't know who you guys are rooting for, Quantic or Poseidon here, but it will be a good one. Quantic going to first pick on Darkseer, and they will grab that second pick onto Visage. A little bit interesting as well. We haven't seen that much Ishkaffle first pick. For those of you, throwback to Dota 1. Whoa, a little Darkseer there. And again, the great thing about those supports first, as we've talked about in many of these drafts, you're not revealing much of your hand. Darkseer can go top, middle, or bottom. He can tri-lane, he can farm, he can really do anything. Visage, he's going to support, but still not revealing too much of what you want to do. Poseidon going to take the opposite route here, and they're going to grab Weaver as their second pick, and no big surprise there either, because we saw Weaver carry quite difficult in the first game today, and actually in the second match of the day we saw Weaver in that first banned category. So a smart play. We saw when the game that he was picked, man, the mobility on that damn spider. You just can't lock him down. Even if you have all of the tools you need, you've got your sentries, you've got your dusts, you've got your crowd controls, he can still find a way to scoot away with that sneaky time lapse and microwing in and out of the trees. Oh, such a headache to deal with. As my co-caster well put in the last match, it just takes more to shut him down. It's not that he's OP, he's just a pain to deal with. So Quantic Gaming better have a trick up their sleeve to deal with a Weaver here in this game. Next set of bans have come out, and Quantic Gaming going to throw their bans on the Nature's Prophet as well as the Shadow Demon, and Poseidon going to throw their bans out on the Alchemist as well as Keeper of the Light. An interesting set of bans from Quantic Gaming. I don't really see Poseidon picking Shadow Demon here. He's really fallen off in popularity. I think we've seen him once in all the games we've casted so far in Starladder Season 7. So surprised to see him banned here. I don't know, maybe they were just looking for a throwaway ban. Hard to say. And also banning the Nature's Prophet. We haven't seen a lot of that. So Quantic doing some interesting bans here in their second group, but Quantic Gaming going to third pick a Nyx Assassin here, and based on their heroes that they have, the Visage and the Darkseer, it's hard to say where that Nyx is going to go. Another great thing about the Nyx Assassin is he's versatile. You can put him in the mid lane and let him be that real aggressive ganker, hit level 6 nice and early with all of that solo experience and really have a driving force in the early and mid game, or you can put him in that support role. We've seen more frequently the support Nyx kind of style of play, where he just plays that kind of position 4, position 5, moves around, stacks the jungle, buys wards, all that good stuff. And he does play that well, play that role pretty well, because he does have a stun and mana burn, and also you know, he will eventually hit level 6, and Vendetta does become a very effective tool. I would love to see a Nyx in the mid lane, though. That would make me really happy to see Nyx Assassin end up in the mid lane and play a really driving role in this match. That would be very exhilarating. Poseidon, though, they're putting a lot of thought into this third pick. They're going to delve into their reserve time here and actually going to burn about a minute of it. They've got 45 seconds left on their third pick. They've got the Weaver and the Naga Siren, and who knows what they want to do here. Still a lot of options on the board. We've seen Weaver in that sort of solo short lane role. We've seen him in the tri-lane role, so he's a little versatile as well. And Poseidon finally going to settle down on the Bane, and I think that might be a smart choice here, because Lifestealer is still in the pool. He is not banned, and Quantic now has their fourth pick. They still need a hard carry, and even with the Bane on the field, I think the Lifestealer is still a viable pick. Bane does serve as a pretty effective counter, of course, with the Fiend's Grift to lock him down, and also the Enfeeble to try and reduce some of that damage that he'll inevitably get throughout the game. Though it's not the reason not to pick Lifestealer. Poseidon positioning themselves in a way such that they're prepared for all occurrences. So a big shout out to everyone tuning in right now. We're about to break triple digits for the first time on our audio-only stream, so a big shout out to all of you. I'm assuming in the car, at work, cruising around, listening to Dota Radio, and there we go, going to hit that 100 mark. So big shout out to the guy that put it on Reddit. We appreciate each and every one of you. This is a brand new project. We're starting to make threads on different sites, Join Dota and Team Liquid, what have you, and we really appreciate your support. We like the idea of Dota Radio. We're brand new, and as I mentioned, we may be looking to pick up a third caster to fill in the slack, so I don't have to always solo cast when my co-caster is occupied doing IRL work. Jesus. What could be more serious than Dota? Come on. So anyway, big shout out to all of you guys. I do have chat open on my other monitor if you're one of the Twitch viewers. I'll do my best. I'm sure you guys will be very eager to correct me as I misspeak or mishypothesize on item pickups, so feel free to keep me on my toes. I'll do my best to glance over, but no promises. It is a one-man show running 2 streams here. Right. So Quantic Gaming, though, they're going to delve into their reserve time for their fourth pick here. Going to put a lot of thought into it. They've got about 40 seconds of reserve time left as well. They need something to complement that Nyx, Visage, and Darkseer. Maybe deliberating over whether or not they want the Lifestealer or they want to go for more of another route for hard carry. They've got some options available and ticking away here. No reason to guess because our, the mystery will be solved here in about 20 seconds. And it's going to be a puck, so they're not going to grab a hard carry. They're going to grab their mid lane hero, and I guess that means that Nyx Assassin here is unfortunately going to be slated for that support role. So I shouldn't say unfortunately. He's great in the support role. I don't want to hate on Nyx. It's just been so long since we've seen him take that mid lane role that is just a little more interesting. It feels like a little bit of a wasted potential, sort of like doing a support Alchemist. We've seen that as well, where Alchemist, in my mind, he's just a great farmer. Of course, Greevil's Greed, Hand of Midas, he just gets on another echelon of items when he gets free farm, but we've seen some support Alchemists in that tri-lane playing that position 4 type role, where he just runs around with a stun, and it just feels like sort of a wasted potential with a hero like that, even though it does work. So Poseidon now going to have their option for a fourth pick again. They're going to break into the reserve time, so both sides really taking their time in their draft, making sure I have maximum amount of fill here for the drafting phase, as I think we're going to burn. This drafting phase is pretty much going to take the maximum amount of allotted time, as both sides here are running dangerously low in reserve time. Only 15 seconds left for Ex-Quantic, and here we're going to get that 15-second mark, with Team Poseidon. Poseidon right now with Bane, Weaver, and Naga Siren. So their fourth pick, they're going to need something carry-like. It's going to be a Gyrocopter they're going to grab. So Poseidon going to go with a Gyrocopter as well as a Weaver. Now we'll be curious to see how they opt to lane this, because really Weaver could go in the mid lane. He's not a bad mid laner, and Gyrocopter as well can hold his own in the mid. So I'll be curious to see how they opt to lane this. They're going to put one of them in the safe lane top, I would guess, but time will tell. So Quantic Gaming here, they're going to throw their last ban out on Templar Assassin. That's something we saw in the last game. We were talking about how their TA does do very well against melee heroes in particular. So perhaps Quantic Gaming, I don't know, banning out the TA just seems weird. They have the puck. I don't know exactly what their thought was here. But Poseidon's last ban will come out onto the Lifestealer. So they're still very afraid. We saw them pick up the Bane, and they're actually going to ban Lifestealer last. So that will limit Quantic Gaming's, or Ex-Quantic, I should say, choices here with their last pick. They really need a carry, though. Right now, they're pretty int heavy. 3 ints, and the only agility is that Nyx Assassin, who, of course, really is not much of a carry by any means. And I think they're going to break into their reserve time again here, use their 16 seconds of remaining time to finish off this draft. It's going to be a Lone Druid last pick. Oh, boy, is that exciting. We've seen very little Lone Druid play throughout this tournament. So that does throw an interesting wrench in the mix. I don't know where they're going to put him. Are they going to put him in the long lane? Are they going to put him in the close lane to solo farm? I imagine he'll be off laning. And they've got the Darkseer now. The lanes are going to be interesting here. This is really, I guess, Darkseer next. We'll see. I'm not even gonna guess at it. Guessed. Why did I say guessed? I glance. This is what happens when you hear me stuttering. That probably means I'm glancing at chat and trying to read and talk at the same time, and that's a bit of a struggle. Sticky wicket here. So it's going to be a Lone Druid. I'll be excited to see how they opt to lane this. Now Poseidon going to break into their last few seconds of reserve time for their 5th pick. They've got a Gyrocopter, a Bane, a Weaver, a Naga Siren, and they're going to pick up a Magnus. I've said it several times this tournament. I'm going to say it again here. Every single game we have picks that are interesting and exciting. I love the Dota 2 meta, how teams are just encouraged to experiment. All of the heroes have something that they bring to the table, just a sign of great balance. I absolutely love it. It keeps this tournament exciting, keeps me on my toes. We're going to see Magnus and Lone Druid for the first time in this tournament here in Game 3 of the day on Starladder Season 7, Day 7. So of course that roster will be facing off against Ex-Quantic, who does have Darkseer, Visage, Nyx Assassin, Puck, and Lone Druid. Oh, this is going to be a hell of a match. I'm not even going to guess at the lanes. We're just going to wait and see how things unfold when we get into the match. Oh, boy. Oh, I love seeing a good Magnus play. When we were practice casting, warming up for Dota Radio, we checked out, I forget which replay it is. It's in the beginning of that silly infomercial we made, that little clip with that epic Magnus play where he hops into the Roche pit, RPs 3 of them together, skewers all 3 of them out of the pit. Oh, Magnus is just, he's an awesome hero to see. He's like kind of like that Enigma where he can be quiet all game and then just that one really important moment, turn it around and... you know, you've just got this game-changing ultimate with that reverse polarity. I'm on the already very, very excited. So let's see what's going to happen here in the early game. We're going to see some Pain Trains on the way. Team Poseidon on the Radiant side. All 5 of them going to be heading to that top lane. And no doubt going to be wanting to throw down some wards. And it looks like Quantic actually not so eager to do the Pain Train to start things off here. They're just going to head to their respective lanes. And let's take a look at how those are going to settle down. So on the Quantic side, they have a stand-in named Mig right now. He's going to be playing the Darkseer down here in the bottom lane. And we'll see Lone Druid scout him out up in the top lane. In the mid, it looks like it will be a solo puck. Right now, he's tagged up as Robocop, but I believe that is Fada in the mid lane here. Right now, Lone Druid, it's hard to say where he's going to be. He's stationed in the Radiant jungle. He's got the bear, and he's just kind of scouting around with that Spirit Bear while all of Poseidon moves about the Radiant jungle. And did they drop a ward? Nope, I don't see a single ward going down. So they're just cruising around. Looks like they do have a pretty solid level 1 team here with Naga having that ensnare. You always have that opportunity to pick up an early kill if you catch somebody off guard. So perhaps Poseidon just venturing around looking for an easy first blood. Not going to find it, though, unfortunately. So right now in the top lane, we do have the fucking Mad on Nyx Assassin. He's cruising around the top lane. Mania going to be playing the Visage, and here we have Sakshka. I'm going to try my best with that name. Sakshka. That's it right there. It's just not a string of sounds I'm used to pronouncing here in the English language. So it looks like they're going to be tri-laning top for the most part here with their Lone Druid, of course, picking up the meat of the farm in the top lane. So for our Radiant side down on the bottom, Illidan going to be playing the Gyrocopter. In the mid lane, we're going to have Tame My Wild playing the Magnus going up against the Mighty Puck, and it looks like there will be a tri-lane in the top lane. JOTM on the Naga Siren support. Pub, I'm not sure who that is, on the Weaver, and Wind X on the Bane. So some slightly different names here. I'm not sure who is who. Pub, I'm going to guess, is Pos. But he tends to have... the other day, Pos just had his name as a little winky face. So I'm going to guess that that's him. But we'll see. We'll see. So that's how things are going to ensue here. And right now, Pos already off to a little bit of a difficult start with the Weaver. Sashka, I see, try to correct my Sachka pronunciation there in chat. So Weaver and the Lone Druid going to be going toe-to-toe in the top lane. They're off to a fairly even start here. Weaver 2-0, the Lone Druid 3-1. It's sort of interesting to see the Lone Druid in the mid lane here, and he's just going to be in a tri-lane here. I'm used to seeing him as kind of an off-laner, but I'll be honest, it's been a while since I've casted a Lone Druid match because he just hasn't had a big showing here in Starladder. In the mid, Puck versus the Magnus, and they seem to be even so far as well, both of them with 3 last hits apiece, and I imagine they'll both be going for that first, that early bottle, pardon me. Puck can be starting off with that kind of standard build we've been seeing more often, the Null Talisman, 2 GG branches, and some regeneration there to get that last hit damage. Tame My Wild going to be starting off with a couple of GG branches himself, as well as a set of tangos. He's going to pick up his bottle first, and I don't think Puck has grabbed his yet. Yep, nope, not quite yet. So Magnus going to have a slight advantage here in the mid lane as he does get that slightly earlier bottle. We're going to see in the top lane, though, no wards coming down from Poseidon. They're not going to opt to block this creep pull. So right now, Quantic, with fabulous lane control, Sachka is in good shape. He's had really the lane exactly where he wants it, and they can double stack and pull very easily. The Bear can just tank it, or this Lone Druid can just tank it with his Spirit Bear. That does make things a little bit easier for him in terms of creep waves shoving into the tower. Right now, we see our Radiant side, Poseidon's top tri-lane, trying to contest the creep pull here. They're going to eat a stun from Nyx Assassin, but Quantic not going to commit. So right now, Weaver actually getting denied an okay bit of farm here. He is actually 10-2, so I take that back. He's farming just fine, despite the creep pulling action. Here we're going to see Poseidon actually do some crafty work with the creeps. They're going to pull a full wave back out of the tower, and they're going to get a little bit of lane control back here well. So lots of lane control battling going about in this top lane. All the while, everyone else seems pretty happy in their solo lanes, just free farming away. Illidan on the Gyrocopter is #1 in farm right now, 16-5. He did get those gray boots right away and finished up his Wraith Band. And the Darkseer actually doing all right as well. This is one of these situations where the offlaners are having an okay time. Darkseer is level 4. He's sitting 12-1 in creep kills and denies. So that's good news. Little Ishkoffel doesn't always get a lot of love. And oh, we missed the kill in the mid lane as we're looking at these others. My apologies. Magnus going to be able to finish off the Puck in the mid. He's dangerously low, but only level 5. That level 3 Shockwave proving to be a bit too much for the Puck to handle. Again, my apologies. Just like Puck was getting a little bit aggressive there trying to dive Tame My Wild. So Puck going to come back up, going to port mid, and uh-oh, going to try and be a little aggressive here. Nope, Tame My Wild still dangerously low with an empty bottle. Thought Fada may try and go for something, but of course in the mid lane here now the advantage is going to swing in favor of Magnus. Puck only level 4. Magnus going to be forced to run back to the well, but he is level 5, just a couple of creep kills from level 6, and that's when that mid lane is going to start to get a little more dangerous when both of them have the level 6 Dream Coil and Reverse Polarity, both very, very powerful in their own right. 4 minutes in here, we're going to see an Illusion Rune spawn in the top lane. Mania on the Visage, going to be able to grab it, so no bottle charges for Puck here, unfortunately for him. And we have a pretty passive game on our hands, though. Both sides with these relatively defensive tri-lanes. And as I say that, they're going to go in and pass. Nyx Assassin going to use the Impale to catch a stun. And that's just going to push the Weaver out of the lane a little bit here. But Weaver actually getting much better at the farm than the Lone Druid. Weaver sitting 23-7 and Lone Druid only 13-1. So I'm not sure what's going on with Sachka here. But I thought he would have had a much better time last hitting after all the creep pulling. And how defensive it seems Poseidon has to be. And oh, Jesus. In the bottom, we'll see Gyrocopter finish off a solo kill onto the Darkseer. So that's going to make it a 2-0 lead here at about the 5-minute mark. Poseidon is ahead of Quantic Gaming, or Ex-Quantic, as I should say, at this point. So in the mid lane, Magnus has now hit level 6, and Puck still only level 5, still maintaining that advantage. Magnus 26-4 and Puck 24-3. They're still pretty even in farm, but are we going to see some initiation in the top lane? They really want to kill this Weaver. Pos only level 3, going to Shikuchi around in the trees. And they're actually going to drop a Sentry Ward. There's the Impale. They may be in a little bit of trouble. The rest of the team going to come in. JOTM in big trouble. The Bear trying to chase her down. And the Bear actually going to get nightmared. And now Sachka may be a little bit of trouble. A lot of back and forth up in the top lane. Pos trying to go back in. He's going to Shikuchi through. And he is going to catch that Rev Ward. He's going to be in trouble. Pos going to fall. That's going to be the first kill for Quantic Gaming up in the top lane here. Lone Druid still alive if they've got enough mana for an Impale. There it is. The clarity was on Nyx Assassin. He's going to throw it. They're going to dive this tower. Bane's going to fall as well. Let's make that a 2-for-0 exchange. Going to tie it up 2-2 here, 6 minutes into this game 3 for for the day. So a nice exchange for Quantic Gaming, very back and forth. Nyx Assassin actually going to be the one to grab the last hit on both those kills. So unfortunately, both Weaver and Naga Siren going to pay the ultimate price up there, as they do try to get... well, I guess Quantic really engaged it. They engaged onto the Weaver, they threw down the Sentry Ward, and I guess they didn't see the Sentry Ward go down, or didn't suspect it, because Pos just walked right by it, and it was his ultimate doom. So down here in the bottom lane, some interesting stuff going on as Gyrocopter takes some creep waves. Darkseer actually going to cut the wave in half. He's going to sit between the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 down here in the Radiant side and intercept creep waves, use the Ion Shell to take him down, and, well, really not making Gyrocopter's life all that difficult. The creeps are shoving into the tower, but Gyrocopter does now have his Phase Boots, his Magic Wand, and a Wraith Band, so he's able to score these last hits from the tower very easily. It's kind of like getting your creep pulled for you, so although the difference here, Darkseer is getting a lot of farm as well. He's 36-1 against the 40-8 Gyrocopter right now, so it will be interesting to see the Darkseer with a bit of early farm here. He's actually number 3 on last hits at the moment, now picking up his Soul Scream Ring, and does have a bottle as well. So, Darkseer off to a good start. In the mid lane, Magnus going to be in some trouble, though. Puck with a double damage. We'll see a rotation from Nyx Assassin. They're going to engage. The Dream Coil going to be used. And tomorrow will use the reverse polarity. Will get caught in the Dream Coil, but is going to be able to skewer away. Going to throw a couple shockwaves back. And Nyx Assassin may actually be in a little bit of trouble here. Bane going to come to support. He's only level 2, but that's high enough level for a Nightmare. Shockwave going to be enough to finish off the Nyx Assassin, but Bane will pay the ultimate price in the end, making it a 1-for-1. Now, Robocop on the puck. I meant to say Fada. He's mislabeled here. Still with the double damage on. Magnus going to run in. Going to hit him with a Shockwave. Ishkafel going to come up now. He's going to throw a Surge to hope that Fada can pick up the kill. But Gyrocopter as well as Nagasara going to come in. That's going to be the end of the Darkseer. Fada still with the double damage on. He's going to throw an Orb. He'll dive the tower. That'll be the end of Magnus. Tame My Wild going to fall as well. Still an even exchange. 4-4 here as we approach the 8th minute of match 3 of the day. Interesting action happening in the mid lane, diving that tier 1 tower, but ultimately well played by Magnus. Puck coming out ahead, and that's going to help the mid lane. Magnus did get that first kill on him, so that will help level things out just a little bit. And of course, that double damage rune really coming into play there as well. Meanwhile, on the top lane, let's see how farms are continuing, and it's actually evening out. Sachka on the Lone Druid is sitting 28-4, and the Weaver right now by Pos is 31-10. But speaking of Weaver, he's going to be in a little bit of trouble. He's going to eat a stun. Puck going to come in and drop the Waning Rift illusionary orb combo on him, but not going to have the vision, and Weaver will be able to Shikuchi away. So let's take a look at Lone Druid. What's he doing in the way of items? He's now picked up his Phase Boots. Those have a Ring of Regeneration and a couple of GG branches. And the Spirit Bear, oh, look at that. He's got Boots of Speed. That bear's just cruising around. If we take a look at other items that have been picked up, Magnus has now gone for his Arcane Boots. No big surprise there. And also going to have his Magic Wand as well as his bottle. Ishkafel going to be headed to that bottom rune to try and pick it up here. And he's going to get caught. He's going to get gangbanged by 4 down by that bottom rune right inside the Radiant Jungle as Gyrocopter is the one to grab that kill. All 4 of them except Pos. Weaver still formed in the top lane as we do see some rotation happening. Quantic Gaming going to opt for a smoke into the mid. And Tame My Wild didn't see it coming. He's going to bump into a Visage, Nyx Assassin, and Puck. It's going to be a 3v1. Another gangbang going to happen in the mid. Nyx Assassin going to grab his 3rd kill of the game now, sitting 3-1-1. And unfortunately, the Magnus going to be 2-2 now. A much needed kill, I think, for Quantic Gaming. We've still got an even match, though. 5 kills apiece as we hit that 9-minute and 30-second mark. All the while on the bottom lane, Gyrocopter going to have at the bottom to himself, and he's going to start pressuring this tier 1 tower. They do use the glyph to mitigate some of that damage. But Gyrocopter off to one hell of a start here. He is 3-0-0 actually in kills, deaths, and assists. He does have Helm of the Dominator to go with those Phase Boots already. And his farm is getting a little scary in the net worth chart. He is leading the way with flying colors, 4.5k on the net worth chart right now. And second to him is that of Puck on 3.3. So that's a nice lead he set up for himself. And, you know, Lone Druid, although he's been farming pretty well, sitting only at 3k, so having the 2 carries, Weaver in the top and Gyrocopter down in the bottom, is really paying off for Poseidon at the moment. They have sort of those 2 carries, and one of them was reckoned to get some farm. Either it was going to be bottom or it was going to be top. Not much Quantic could do to try and deny that farm. They didn't have the flexibility to rotate. If they took one of those heroes from the top and put it in the bottom to shut down the Gyrocopter, Weaver would have farmed that much better, and their Lone Druid would have been underfarmed. And had they not, well, that's exactly what happened here. Gyrocopter's farmed, and at least their Ishkafel was able to grab a couple of last hits and get some of that valuable experience. If we look at hero levels, the highest in the game right now, level 9, is going to be Gyrocopter, and Puck actually going to be level 9 as well. So leading the way, Magnus sitting only level 8 at the moment. He is starting to fall behind just a little bit compared to the Puck, thanks to those couple of ganks that Ex-Quantic threw Puck's way earlier on. So now things are rotating even more. We actually see 3 heroes for Poseidon right about the mid lane. Gyrocopter going to be just taking out is that a double stack? A triple stack here at the Radiant Ancients, with Bane just kind of hiding in the trees near the mid lane. I guess in case a gank comes, he's going to skeeve a little bit of experience from these Ancients up there on top of the hill, and he is actually just a couple of creep kills from level 6, so that's always a big time for Bane once he gets that Fiend's grip, pardon me. In the top lane, though, now Lone Druid's going to have an opportunity to pick up some much-needed free farm. He's going to start to cruise ahead in last hits. He's now 58 and 8 compared to the 48 and 16 Weaver, when Weaver actually did have an advantage over him. Lone Druid actually going to move into the jungle here, so that's going to be the source of his farm really starting to skyrocket. Phase Boots now on the Spirit Bear, and he's going to move into his Tranquil Boots. 1,300 gold in the bank. I'll be curious to see if he tries to go for the Radiance first build. Obviously he did go Boots, but first big item. Is he just going to sit in the jungle and try and patiently farm up for the Radiance? It very well could happen, but time will tell. It's a little bit of a risky build because he's going to be a little bit useless until that point when he gets the Radiance, but as soon as he grabs it, he will become a very worthy adversary for the likes of Team Poseidon. So time will tell as he continues to pull up that gold. Puck has now picked up his Blink Dagger, always a big pickup for Puck. He's still on Gray Boots in a bottle, as well as the Null Talisman, so the Blink very early, coming out here at about the 12.5 minute mark. Not very early, but earlier than we see on the reg. I think we see Puck going for upgraded boots before the Blink more often than not, but the Courier are going to bring the Blink into Puck, or at least try as he clears out some space in the inventory. Going to be forced to burn a smoke here in the mid lane, so with the Blink, him and Nyx Assassin going to be moving into the Radiant jungle. They're going to try to make something happen here. Nyx actually going to use a Vendetta on top of the smoke, and they're just going to head straight down to this bottom lane, so it's going to be Nyx Assassin, the Puck, as well as Darkseer coming down here, and they want to make something happen. It looks like it will be scattered out as Naga Siren and Weaver in the bottom lane going to move behind that tier 1 tower and into that area where the trees, so it's going to force Quantic to either dive, take the tower, or back off. The tier 1 tower down here in the bottom, down to about half health, but Puck going to dive it, going to move straight in onto the Weaver, going to use the Dream Coil, but Song of the Siren going to come out, and that will give Weaver the opportunity to time-lapse, going to go back up to full health. Tame My Wild on the Magnus going to come in, and there's the RP, going to use a Skewer, not even going to connect, but that will be the end of Darkseer. So a nice hold here from Team Poseidon. The support comes in, and Puck does survive, just barely. No, he's going to make it into the corner, and Bane will be able to finish him off, and Puck will fall, so that's going to be a 2-for-0 exchange in favor of Team Poseidon. All 5 of them grouped up about the bottom lane now. I think they're going to continue to pressure, and well, are they going to push? No, maybe not. Thought they were going to try and push that tier 1 in the bottom lane. They certainly have the opportunity to. I don't think the glyph is up quite yet for Quantic. No, it's not. And Gyrocopter going to start chipping away at it, but a port will come in. That will keep it alive. Meanwhile, in the top lane, we're going to see Lone Druid come out of the jungle, and he's going to pressure this top tier 1 tower for Team Poseidon. Visage going to be helping him out as well, and this tower is looking like it is going to fall. There is a glyph available, but no support going to come in. Naga trying to perhaps secure a deny, but it's not going to happen. Visage going to grab that last hit. So at the 14-minute mark here, we'll see our first tower kill of the match go in favor of Ex-Quantic Gaming. All the while in the bottom lane, Weaver still just trying to farm away. Now we're going to see Nyx Assassin come down, going to use a Vendetta. He is sitting level 7, and they're going to try to engage on the Weaver. Dust going to be used. Ishkoffel's down here as well. Weaver going to fall. So there you go. You may be fast, but you're not immune to the dust. I was going to try to come up with something creative to say dust, but nope, it's just dust. Countering Weaver all day, every day. So there you go, Nyx Assassin and the Darkseer are going to be able to grab an easy kill. It looks like they are going to pressure this tier 1 tower in the bottom lane that's sitting at just about half health. Again, there is a glyph available. Darkseer is going to intercept the creep wave, so this will be an easy push. Visage with the familiars down here chipping away also. This tower is going to fall if Poseidon doesn't opt to pose a defense here. And still no glyph as the tower gets down to about 100 hit points, and down it goes. Ex-Quantic Gaming going to pick up their second tower kill of the game here at the 15-minute mark, making it 2-0 in tower score. So let's take a look at the gold chart, and it's actually really even right now. Poseidon is ahead 7-6 in hero kills, so they have been ahead for most of this game, but now trailing by 2 towers. We're going to see that gold graph level out just a little bit here, as I imagine Poseidon will be grouping up and wanting to take some towers of their own coming up before too long. Illidan on the gyrocopter still leading the way in farm, I do believe. Let's take a look at the net worth chart. Oh yeah, by a huge margin, sitting about 8.4k on net worth. Second to him is the lone druid as well as the puck, and they're both at about 5.5k net worth. So right now gyrocopter is just so far ahead of anyone else in the game in terms of raw farm. He is scary. He's just now finished that BKB at the 16-minute mark, and that's pretty damn good farm considering he's already got Helm of the Dominator and the phase boots complete, and given the fact that they have no towers down. Illidan's farm is really top-notch in this match. Let's take a look at other items. What else has been picked up? Naga Siren now has grabbed a gem, so that's going to help when they're in these team fights. If the sentries come down, that will help support the Weaver a little bit. Magnus going to make that big item pick up to get a Blink Dagger, of course complementing the Arcane Boots, Bottle, and Magic Wand. So his initiation power is going to be there. Blink in reverse polarity is a dangerous combo. So Tamelai Wild going to have that reach now to initiate, and he may be able to use it now. Quantic Gaming venturing around the Radiant jungle. They're going to bump into Team Poseidon. Puck going to go straight in. He's going to do a lot of damage. Reverse polarity going to be used, but it's not going to do a hell of a lot. A lot of heroes on Poseidon dangerously low. Magnus trying to chase down the Darkseer. He's going to finish him off, and now the rest of Quantic in hot pursuit. Kind of a chaotic team fight here, but Bane and Ishkoffel, the only two to fall. Puck going to come back in. Going to use the Waning Rift, Illusionary Orb combo yet again. There's a lot of 1v1s going on all over the map here as this 5v5 ensues. Weaver going to be able to grab a kill onto the Magnus, but also the Visage going to fall, so that's going to make it a 2-for-2 exchange when it's all said and done. So that was a really weird exchange right there. Poseidon was sort of grouped up and ready to head bottom lane throughout their jungle, and Quantic Gaming was also in the Radiant jungle looking for kills of their own. So they kind of engaged in a chaotic fashion. Our Radiant side did have a ward up nearby the bottom rune, so they saw Quantic were coming. But it seemed they just weren't quite ready for it. A great engage by the puck there to drop the Dream Coil and mitigate a little bit of that focus to use the phase shift right away. After that fight, though, Quantic is going to be able to take the third tower kill of the game, making it 3-0 now in tower score. And as that's happening, Weaver going to get caught, and he's going to fall to the likes of the really the Ex-Quantic team here as Nyx, Darkseer, and Puck all gang up on him near the bottom rune. Again, another sentry down. Weaver going to get caught by it, and he's going to fall. So these sentries and dust coming in handy. Needless to say, I think, poor Weaver, he's now 3-2-2, so Quantic Gaming really doing a great job trying to shut down that Weaver, who had a pretty good start. We're going to see a tied-up game, 9-9 here, 18 kills in 18 minutes as we just crossed that 18-minute mark, and we have a dead-even match on our hands. Well, I shouldn't say that. Quantic Gaming actually leading by about 2,000 gold here, and that's pretty much all tower gold. Again, 3-0 in tower exchange, all 3 of the tier 1s down for Team Poseidon, and they are still yet to secure a tower kill of their own. And actually, most of the Ex-Quantic towers still have quite a bit of health, so really little pushing has come out of Team Poseidon. Really, their pocket ace right now, so to speak, is that Gyrocopter, who still has an immense amount of farm. And speaking of Gyrocopter, he's going to get engaged on in the top lane near the Dire Tier 1 tower. He's going to try to go in on the Nyx. He's going to take a lot of damage. He has the support here, though, and they're going to be able to grab that kill on the Nyx Assassin as the call down comes down right on the Nyx Assassin's face. The support was there, actually. All of Poseidon except Weaver is up here in the top lane, so using that Gyrocopter to bait a little bit does secure them a kill. Gyrocopter going to pour it out. He's going to head to the Tier 2 in the mid lane to pick up a little bit of farm, and the rest of Poseidon going to head for the hills as well. Not going to pressure that Tier 1 tower in the top. They don't want to overcommit. I think Poseidon feeling like they just don't have the pushing presence right now, and I kind of think they don't. I think their golden ticket in this game is just going to be to farm. They have that carry advantage. It's basically Lone Druid versus the Weaver and Gyrocopter, so it makes sense why Ex-Quantic is trying to pressure these towers early on, looking for opportunities to push, because they will get out-carried eventually if this game goes on long enough the way it's continuing. In the bottom lane, Weaver going to fall again. My apologies for those of you watching on the Twitch stream. Puck going to initiate with the Darkseer follow-up, and that will be the end of Weaver, just getting caught with his pants down again. They threw a sentry ward down. He wasn't ready for it, and down he went. I was actually admiring the Lone Druid while that was happening because he's been pretty quiet this game. Looking at the hero kill chart, he's 0-0-2. He's pushed a couple of towers, but he's avoided those team fights, and it's paying off. His bear's got a Sacred Relic right now, and he's got about 1,100 gold in the bank, so needless to say, that Radiance is going to be on the field in just a couple of minutes here. We're just about to hit that 20-minute mark, so that's a nice timely Radiance for Lone Druid. Of course, it does static AoE damage, so the earlier you get it, the more effective an item it is. Lone Druid Sachka here going to be very happy to get that big item pickup. Speaking of item pickups here for Ex-Quantic, though, Darkseer has his Tranquil Boots, has his bottle, Soul Scream Ring as well, and he's finally going to be able to grab that mech. Nice early mech. I don't know why I said finally. Nice early mech for him, and he's going to be that much happier. Darkseer really having a great game so far. He's been able to be very active. He is level 11, so one of the few heroes here, well, one of about half heroes to have that level 2 ultimate, making him a little bit more potent as he moves across the map. There has been another interesting choice here. The Weaver, still no boots, does have the Ring of Aquila and a couple of GG branches, but going for the Ultimate Orb and the Perseverance. So just going to go straight for Lincoln's here. Not going to go for boots, realizing he needs survivability. You know, just wants to be able to mitigate some of these focused abilities. And oh, speaking of Weaver in the top lane, he's going to get caught. Puck with that blink, proving to be a very cost-effective investment this match. Going to be able to grab another kill on Weaver with the assistance of Lone Druid as well as the Visage. He's going to go down. Meanwhile, in the Radiant jungle, though, we're going to see Nyx Assassin and Darkseer maybe in a little bit of trouble. Nyx has now picked up a blink, and he's going to be able to blink to safety, going to throw a stun on Magnus, who had him in hot pursuit. So they're going to head back to the tower, and I think Ex-Quantic going to get ready to defend in the bottom lane as Poseidon's grouped up. They've got their 4 remaining heroes all clumped up in the bottom lane, kind of near their tier 1, and in the Radiant jungle. Perhaps looking for an opportunity. Not sure if they're going to find it, though. Gyrocopter just going to go back to doing what he does best, and that's farming away. He's got another 3.2k gold in the bank. So we'll see where Gyrocopter goes. Last match, we saw Gyrocopter move into a pretty early Butterfly, right around this time, actually. So we may see Illidan opt for that here. It all depends on that MKB. And this is a situation where I don't know who would get the MKB if he goes for the Butterfly. Obviously, Lone Druid is your ideal choice, but that's still not really an ideal choice. They don't have that one great ranged carry to pick it up and serve as an effective counter against Gyrocopter's dodge. So, thinking he may go for that Butterfly. 3,600 gold in the bank for Illidan. Time will tell what route he wants to go. Puck going to make an interesting choice as well. Going to go for the Dagon. He's going to initiate onto the Weaver in the top lane. And actually not going to use the Dagon there. May have been able to secure a kill if he had connected with that Illusionary Orb, but he did miss, unfortunately. So Fada really pressuring this Weaver up here. Just non-stop. This Puck, I feel like he's been all over the map. Now that I haven't seen Dagon on Puck either. It is only level 1 right now, but still an interesting item choice. I guess Ex-Quantic, they know they'll get out carried, so they just want to take every edge they can here in the mid-game to make it happen. Puck going to dive the tower, and Weaver going to get dropped like he's hot. Nothing he could do. At about half health already, Puck going to come in, drop the Dream Coil, drop the Dagon, and bye-bye Weaver. That Lincoln Sphere not out quite yet. That's going to delay him even more. Only 600 gold in the bank. Still doesn't have the recipe. So that's bad news bears for him. Speaking of Lone Druid now, he has picked up the Radiance. So that big item pickup we spoke about a few moments ago, going to be a reality here on the field at that 23-minute mark. And Roshan going to be underway for Ex-Quantic. They get the Radiance. They say, hey, Weaver's dead. Let's do it. It's a 5v4. No way Poseidon can pose a true defense here. And Rosh getting dangerously low, down to about 1,100 HP or so. And he's going to fall. No doubt that the Aegis can end up in the inventory of the Lone Druid, and there it is, Lone Druid getting more and more dangerous by the second here. Puck actually going to up that Dagon as well. He's going to grab a level 2 Dagon. In the mid lane, though, we'll see initiation on Tame My Wild on the Magnus. The Vendetta trying to be used, and he's going to skewer him back into the tower. Now Darkseer going to come in. He's going to throw a vacuum. He's actually going to get engaged on by the Weaver. Uh-oh, the Bane going to come in from behind. There's the Fiend's Grip onto the Darkseer. He's going to be able to surge away a little bit, but he is ultimately going to fall. Visage coming in to try and support. Now Pos in hot pursuit. And I think Mania on the Visage going to be in big trouble. If he survives this, I'll be very surprised. Nyx Assassin throwing an Impale, trying to keep his good buddy alive. The Gargoyles are here. The Familiars, I should say, trying to drop stuns. And actually, Mania going to miss Micro a little bit. Not going to catch him. And oh, big plays from the fucking Mad. Weaver going to try and Shikuchi in. And he's going to use the Spiked Carapace to proc the Shikuchi and drop a stun. That'll give Visage enough time to port out. And Quantic going to survive. Only dropping their Darkseer. Very nicely played. While all that was happening in the top lane, Gyrocopter going to get taken out by the likes of the Lone Druid as well as a Puck. Again, Puck just so aggressive with that Blanket and Dagon. He's all over the place, taking kills at every opportunity. So a lot of chaos happening in this game. An action-packed match at that. 13-11 here, 24 minutes in to this best of one series here. Game 3, Day 7 of Starladder's Series 7. Quantic Gaming ahead 13-11. Let's take a look at the gold graph, and Quantic Gaming holding steady at about a 2,500 gold lead. It is bumping around a little bit, but they're hanging on to this edge. If they can keep up ganks on the Weaver and the Gyrocopter, they'll be in good shape to continue putting pressure on in this match before the scary carries really get too scary. Gyrocopter now has picked up the Eagle Song, so it looks like he will indeed be moving towards the Butterfly. Maybe Quantic Gaming thinking they need to hit this timing window before they're stuck without an MKB against the likes of that Butterfly coming out. Spirit Bear now going to have a Hyperstone in the inventory, so of course Lone Druid going to be working towards that Assault Cuirass. The tier 2 tower in the mid lane falls. That's going to make it 4-2 in tower count here. Quantic still way ahead on the gold and tower count. And other items have been grabbed. No, I thought I saw one other big one picked up. Perhaps not. The Hyperstone is the one that I'm getting at here. So Poseidon up against the ropes a little bit there. Weaver very underfarmed right now. He did manage to finish that Lincoln Sphere, but he's still bootless. Basically just Lincolns and Ring of Aquila, and then just that handful of GG branches they've got there. Naga, her biggest item pickup still is that Gemma True Sight still sitting on Boots of Speed. Scratch that. Actually going to go ahead and update to the Tranquil Boots here. So going to up those boots finally. But we may see an engage here in the Radiant Jungle. Quantic grouping up to pressure that bottom lane. Looks like Poseidon wants to pose a defense. They're going to come through the Radiant Jungle and try and make it happen. Nick's actually going to catch an impale onto the Weaver, but he will use... Oh, no, pardon me, not get it. I guess it was an illusion that he caught. My mistake. I thought he time-lapsed back, but it did just die. So anyway, Nick's Assassin here. He's going to use the Vendetta, and all 10 heroes really are clumped up about the mid. Puck going to come in. There's the Magnus. They're going to try and take out the Puck. Uh-oh, Magnus going to be able to finish off the Nick's Assassin before the fight really engages. Puck's still alive thanks to Phase Shift, but it's not going to be good for him. Gyrocopter going to be able to finish him off, and Weaver going to be able to catch a kill onto the Darkseer. Buyback's coming out here. Puck trying to get back into the field, and he is. He's going to port to that tier 1 in the mid lane. He's going to be able to finish off the Gyrocopter. That's going to make it a 3-for-2 if you count the buyback on Puck, but he's back in the game, so it's still a 3-for-3. Ex-Quantic in Hot Pursuit. They're back to the tier 3 in the mid lane for Team Poseidon. They're going to dive that tier 3 tower. Down goes Naga Siren. Now we're going to see Weaver in a little bit of trouble. There's the time lapse. Is he going to be able to live? He will. Shikuchi going to be enough to keep him alive, but they've still got a 3v2 situation, and Quantic wants a tower. They're going to pressure this tier 3. The bear moving in, and oh, Puck going to dive the base. Weaver going to fall. At the same time here, Magnus is going to come back up. He's going to try to engage on the Puck. Fada going to be in a little bit of trouble here. He's got nowhere to go. He's got the gem. He jukes the skewer. He's going to throw an illusionary orb. He does fall, but all the while his team is pressuring that tier 3. The tier 3 towers fall. Tier 3 tower falls in the mid lane while Magnus is playing with the Puck near the base. The melee racks taking heavy damage. Down they go. Range racks the only thing left, and they're going to keep pressuring. No defense going to be posed here by Team Poseidon. Bane going to come up. He's going to drop Enfeeble on the Spirit Bear to try to mitigate some of the damage, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Actually, it will. Naga going to come in with the song. Uh-oh. Bane's ready. Magnus is ready. No reverse polarity, but the Song of the Siren is here. It's caught 3 of them. And where's the engage going to come? Nick's Assassin going to drop a stun. Bane going to fall. Naga Siren going to fall shortly after. Ex-Quantic Gaming steamrolling their way through this fight, except despite the fact that the song reset. We're going to see Gyrocopter come back in. He uses the BKB, takes a lot of damage, forced to back out. Aegis going to be burned now as Lone Druid falls, and they're going to be able to get a counter kill onto Magnus. Quantic Gaming still in great shape here. Still alive in the mid lane as they continue to pick up more kills. 2016 here, 28 minutes in, and it looks like the ranged racks will fall in the mid lane. So Quantic Gaming's really going to get a good exchange here. They pick up a lot of favorable kills and, of course, get that mid lane of racks. So now Poseidon, they were looking like in good shape as if that Gyrocopter would be able to carry them out of this sticky wicket, but Quantic Gaming with a huge response going to take racks when it's all said and done. That was one chaotic team fight right there. Gyrocopter has now finished up his Butterfly, but that was a really long engage back-to-back. Quantic Gaming really just with the better showing. They had more damage, more presence. Puck was the really target of choice by Poseidon right there, and the phase shift actually really coming in handy. I think he may have actually phase shift the reverse polarity. I'd have to run it back to look more closely, but it looked like he did. Puck, of course, Puck still did fall. That buyback coming in handy. And we talk a lot about how keeping your towers up isn't only great for mitigating the income of your opposing team, but also that map control. Came in very handy right there. Quantic Gaming only has one tier 1 tower remaining, and it is the mid tower. So fighting in that mid lane, Puck was able to buy back, port to that tier 1 tower, blink forward, and he was almost back in the fight already, and that really helped change the tides for Quantic in that last engage. Poseidon, though, recognizing that they're up against the ropes, trailing by about 9,000 gold or so. They're going to pressure this tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Ishkafel going to come in. The vacuum, the wall, Nyx Assassin coming in as well. Bane going to be the first to drop. BKB going to use by Gyrocopter. Time-lapse going to be used by Pos. But Gyrocopter in big trouble here. He's dodging a lot. Still no MKB. Gyrocopter may actually be able to survive. The butterfly coming in handy right there, but Naga Siren does fall to the hands of the Puck, and Pos still may not be out of the clear. He's trying to Shikuchi away. Do they have a gem? Ooh, yeah, they do. It's in the inventory of Nyx Assassin, and I think this Weaver may fall if they can catch a stun. He's definitely dead. He's going to try to get into the trees. He's going to try to pour it out. Going to be close. Not going to make it, though. Puck going to be able to finish him off, and that's going to be a 3-for-0 exchange as Poseidon tries to pressure that tier 1 tower in the mid lane. Great response from Quantic, and whoa, Magnus able to take a kill on the Lone Druid. Where did that happen? I don't know. He bought back too quickly before I could see where he died. Oh, Lone Druid was pressuring the bottom lane that whole time. Holy Toledo. We see Saksha really getting a cost-effective exchange there while they're all distracted in the mid lane. He was pressuring the bottom. He took out the tier 3 tower, almost took out the racks. The melee racks with about 20 hit points left. The glyph is used. Somebody needs to go in and just last hit that bad daddy. Literally 30 hit points on the exposed melee racks in the bottom lane. There's no glyph, so if Quantic can take a good fight here, no doubt they'll be able to pressure in and finish off this bottom lane of racks. Weaver's still dead for another 10 seconds. Quantic's got everybody up. Lone Druid was in the jungle, but he's going to make it down here to the bottom lane. Melee racks going to be destroyed by creeps here as Ex-Quantic pressures in. Sakshka in good shape. He's going to finish off the ranged racks now, and that bear is getting scary. It's now got an Assault Kuras, a Radiance, and a Skull Basher. That Spirit Bear is damn scary. Now Poseidon in big trouble, trailing by only 6 kills, but they've lost both middle and bottom lanes of racks. They have a tier 2 tower remaining in the top lane that will keep their top lane of racks safe for now, but it's only going to be a matter of time. Puck still leveling up that Dagon. It's on Dagon level 4 now, so Puck just looking for opportunities to pick up early kills. Again, I love the choice from Ex-Quantic here. Fado with the right idea. They knew they needed to win this early at the 30-minute mark. They've done a crippling amount of damage, even though these carries that are Weaver and Gyrocopter on the Radiant side are starting to get a little bit scary. Still no MKB to counter that butterfly. It doesn't matter. They've done that crippling amount of damage before the 2 carries can take off, and I think Quantic is in good shape to take this match. I think they're going to recollect a little bit, and then they're just going to pressure that top lane. Certainly going to take out that tier 2 tower, and well, give them the crippling blow, so to speak. Right now, Quantic leading by about 14,000 gold and somewhere about 14,000 experience as well. All 4 Ex-Quantic, actually 3 Ex-Quantic members going to group up about the mid lane as all 5 of Team Poseidon are grouped up as well. It looks like Poseidon maybe a last-ditch effort here. They know they're up against the ropes. They need to make something happen. Pardon me. The Darkseer actually going to go in. He's going to use a vacuum. He's going to get caught in the Fiend's grip. That's going to initiate the fight. Quantic actually not in the best of numbers right here. They still seem to be doing all right. Nyx Assassin going to fall as well as Bane. Those are going to be the only kills back and forth. Visage actually going to fall as well, so Quantic not going to come out ahead in that fight. Lone Druid wasn't there. He was in the top lane. He's going to cruise in now. Could be a mistake. They're going to engage on him. The bear going to get caught, and no, Poseidon starting to fall. Puck going to come back in here doing a ton of damage, and Magnus going to buy back. Visage going to buy back as well. Right now, everyone is just going all in. All the buybacks are being used. Poseidon knows this is their last chance. Gyrocopter going to get caught in the roots. The Entangling Claw is going to prove to come in handy here, even at the 33-minute mark, as Gyrocopter falls, and Ultra Kill coming out for Pos. A Rampage coming out for Pos as the stand-in right now. That's going to be Puck getting all 5 of those kills on the Radiant side. Buybacks are used right now. Only Weaver and Magnus are down. So it is a 3v5. They could have a chance to hold off this push. Darkseer and Puck getting aggressive here, diving the tier 4s, looking for an opportunity to kill Illidan. Not going to find it. All the while, Sachka was up in that top lane. He finished off the tier 2 tower, now going to finish off the tier 3. He very well may pay with his life here, but the bottom racks are exposed. No glyph up. He's going to get caught in an ensnare. Gyrocopter going to come in. The BKB going to be used. The bear's going to fall, but it doesn't matter. The rest of the team going to come in here, and they're going to clean it up. Down goes Bane, and it looks like Gyrocopter going to fall shortly after. Down he goes. Puck going to come in with a level 5 Dagon to the face. Now this top lane of racks completely exposed. Creeps are chipping away at it, and Poseidon going to be forced to tap out here momentarily. Creeps hitting their tier 4 towers. Heroes hitting their last remaining lane of racks. They're going to get mega creeped here in a matter of seconds. The melee racks fall in the top lane. Quantic in great shape. There it is. The GG well playeds come out from Team Poseidon. Ex-Quantic taking the 3rd game of the day here on day 7 of Starladder Season 7 in a very convincing fashion. 32-20, 34 minutes. minutes in. An action-packed game, absolutely no complaints from me on that match. That was what we want to see in competitive Dota. Interesting picks, interesting plays, very back-and-forth match. Not so often you see a level 5 Dagon here in competitive Dota, and I love that Ex-Quantic was rewarded for making interesting item choices. Puck ending that game 18-4-6. 18 of his team's 32 kills. My hat goes off to you, Fada. You are a gentleman and a scholar, sir.